How do I help my husband move on from wedding regret? After my wedding, I learned that my mother-in-law, Mill, had wanted to walk her only son, my husband, down the aisle during our church ceremony. The signs of her discontent became apparent during the reception, where she acted in ways that disrupted the celebration. She attempted to draw attention to herself and my father-in-law during the cake cutting, and during cocktail hour, they seemed to deplete our bar tab with their friends. Her attitude remained off after the wedding. During the wedding planning, my husband had a conversation with his mother about her wishes. She briefly mentioned her concerns, expressing her desire for him not to appear as if he had no family. However, no final decision was reached during their conversation, and my husband didn't revisit the subject. What complicated matters was that I had no knowledge of this conversation. I was the one overseeing the entire wedding process, from the church to the reception, yet she never discussed the matter with me. If I had known, I would have made sure that she could walk down the aisle with her son. The situation escalated during the rehearsal at the church when she discovered that my husband wouldn't be walking down the aisle at all. Instead, he would enter from the side with the groomsmen. She remained distant and quiet throughout the rehearsal and the church ceremony. She and my father-in-law even missed getting ready photos with my husband, as they disappeared when the photographer arrived. This, unfortunately, led to them missing photos with their son, and now they are blaming me and my family for casting them aside. Following the church ceremony, they asserted themselves at the reception, causing disruptions. Despite these challenges, thanks to my family and the venue coordinator, the reception proceeded smoothly. My primary concern revolves around my husband's overwhelming guilt and his persistent efforts to appease his parents, which I find emotionally draining. When I asked my husband why he hadn't revisited the subject with his mother during our wedding planning, he explained that he didn't want to burden his parents with religious matters, given that they hold strongly anti-religious beliefs, a decision he now regrets. In addition to this observation, I'd like to point out the complexity of my husband's relationship with his parents. They operated within a unique dynamic, forming a sort of trio where my husband was expected to be both an obedient child and the one handling their financial and paperwork responsibilities. This arrangement often placed him in a dual role, somewhere between child and parent. Looking ahead, I'm eager to ensure such misunderstandings don't occur again. What can I do to make sure this type of thing does not happen again? How do I help my husband move on? Comment. You can help your husband by setting your own boundaries to protect your marriage from his parents' assholery, and by encouraging your husband to get counseling so he can change this awful dynamic he's been trained into. He needs therapy. His parents have treated him horribly his whole life and have trained him to give them what they want, or they punish him. You can help by being supportive, reminding him that it's not his job to manage his parents' emotions. He's an adult with his own life and he doesn't need to live or die by their approval. Again, he will need some professional help. As part of his therapy process, work with him on establishing boundaries with his parents, reminding him that you are just as impacted by their awful behaviors as he is. I mean, how awful of a person do you have to be to do what they did? Most grooms do not walk, or get walked, down the aisle. They're not mad because they were excluded, they're mad because they wanted their own little moment in the spotlight, and when it wasn't given to them, they decided to have it by acting like asses at the reception. You sound very calm and level-headed about all of this, so kudos to you. Walking a groom down the aisle is odd, but, from what you have been saying, I'm guessing if Mill just voiced her wishes to you once, even at the rehearsal, you'd probably have been fine with the slight adjustment. Again, odd, but if it meant so much to her then whatever, right? This is on her not being a big girl and using her words, and for making a ruckus like a toddler told they can't blow out someone else's birthday candles. Support your husband the best you can with setting boundaries, and feel free to address her calmly and clearly about those boundaries. Because she didn't really want to walk down the aisle, what she wanted was the opportunity to be upset and watch you both run around trying to make it up to her. She didn't communicate with you on purpose, so she could be deprived and be the victim. She doesn't want a good relationship with you, she wants leverage. I mean, he definitely needs to talk to you because you are removed from the relationship and can make somewhat more objective suggestions. It was fine for him to draw a boundary about her walking him down the aisle, especially since I've never been to a wedding where the groom wasn't already front, but you could have offered alternate suggestions for how to make his parents feel included, which, even not narcissistic parents want. Like, was there even a mother-son dance? He boxed you out of the problem and now you have to deal with the fallout from his feelings when it could have been prevented. You are a team, he needs to understand that. This is Mill wanting her own fairy godmother moment. Your husband needs to focus on how satisfied you and him were. It was the day for the two of you, so the Mill is being a narcissist by playing guilt trip on the two of you post-wedding. Your husband is showing some mama's boy tendencies that he needs to overcome, or she will try to do this on every decision in life. It is your husband's job to put her in her lane. It is disrespectful to you as his wife to do otherwise. Then your husband should have communicated better, prior to and on rehearsal day. They obviously didn't react well, but your husband is also to blame. My husband didn't want to walk down the aisle, so he and his friends were at the altar and his mom and dad walked down the aisle together. Anyway, tell your husband he needs to speak with his parents and clear the air so it doesn't snowball into something bigger. Story 2. What happened between my friend and my GF? My girlfriend Lisa confides in me that she is no longer comfortable being alone with Fried Tom, her bestie's husband. Lisa is besties with Tom's wife. Lisa and Tom are also good friends and regularly hang out together independently. Lisa's version: non-consensual kiss on the lips, etc. Lisa says that last weekend, she and Tom were alone listening to music together after his wife went to bed. Lisa says Tom was standing next to her and unexpectedly kissed her on the lips, not open mouth. Lisa says she recoiled and said no, she was with me and he was married to her best friend. Lisa says Tom then took out his peas and said that they were both free spirits and it was not cheating unless he put it in her sigh. Lisa says she told Tom she was in love with me, laughed it off, he put it away and ended the night with Tom driving her home a while later. Lisa says this was not consensual and she and Tom decided that it would not be a good idea to be alone together in the future. Lisa revealed this to me after Tom was upset with Lisa after not hanging out again a few nights later. Lisa said she was afraid of what Tom might say to me, and me leaving her as a result, and afraid of losing her friendship with Tom's wife. Tom's version: consensual open mouth kiss, etc. I asked Tom what happened. Tom says they were sexy dancing together. They were close and that he kissed her open mouth and felt her breasts. Tom said this went on a few minutes and nothing more happened. Tom said they stopped because Lisa said it was cheating on both me and his wife. Tom said since he was a free spirit and did not consider what was happening cheating, he wanting to jokingly prove a point that he could even take his DK out and it still wasn't cheating unless he put it in her sigh. Tom said that the dancing, kissing, BB grabbing was consensual, and they mutually decided to not be alone together again. Tom is afraid of his wife finding out. Tom said he did not tell me because he did not consider anything that happened cheating, but admitted his wife would consider it cheating and would divorce him. Both Lisa and Tom have incentive to minimize or not fully disclose what actually happened for fear of my reaction and said they were fearful of me telling Tom's wife. Lisa is adamant in her version. Tom is adamant in his version. Both do not want me saying anything to Tom's wife. Did something more happen? Who is telling the truth? Update 1. Tom's wife called me because Tom told her that he and I had a falling out as well as with Lisa. Lisa still refuses to speak to either Tom or his wife, saying it is up to Tom to tell his wife, and that she does not want to get dragged into it. Apparently Tom's wife overheard him on with phone with Lisa, asked him, and he said he couldn't remember what happened because he was blackout drunk, but that whatever did happen may have crossed a line. I told her that it was not my place to say anything and it was up to Tom and Lisa to tell her since they are the only ones who actually really knew. However, I did say that based on the common elements of both their stories, something serious definitely did happen and she should speak with Lisa woman to woman, and to not hold anything against her until knowing all the details, and to approach Lisa as a friend who needs support, not accusations. She has left the house and is staying with her parents while she figures this all out. She is already talking about spending the day figuring out splitting assets. Lisa is now treating this as a full-on sexual assault, and I believe her. She has confided in other friends about the event and is staying with friends for support. She is genuinely upset. Ties with Tom are cut 100% permanently. I told Lisa I'm here for support but understands she needs some time to process alone. Since I have only known Lisa the last 3 to 4 weeks, it would be weird for me to get more involved, so I'm stepping back from the entire situation. Too much drama in too short a time. Update 2. Was talking to Tom on phone. He was yelling about his wife finding out everything. He explained in graphic detail exactly what happened between him and my GF in order to prove to me it was consensual. He sent and read me their texts from that night and the days following. Turns out his wife was eavesdropping the entire time. She gets on the phone and tells him she heard everything he said. She's done with him, they are now over. Crazy shit. I believe him now. It was absolutely consensual and GF is for the streets. I appreciate GF's concern over not losing me, but to take it to that level and make accusation like that is just not someone I want to be around. Comment. You may never know for sure, but both versions, your GF is the only voice of reason. He doesn't consider things cheating, but he knows his wife would. I can't say if he's lying to you, but he sounds like a dishonest person. Tom's story has much bigger inconsistencies. Tom says they agreed not to see each other by themselves mutually, but then he's the one who is mad when she doesn't want to hang out the next time. Tom's story also has him doing all of the initiating because he doesn't think groping or kissing or getting his DK out is cheating. Lisa says she's uncomfortable with all the things Tom did. Note that the list still doesn't include anything Lisa initiated. Chances are very good that Tom invented details to implicate Lisa as an active participant, but he wasn't very good at lying. If the boob groping happened at all, it was Tom doing it to Lisa and Lisa not being comfortable with it, enough uncomfortable that she doesn't want to hang out with Tom anymore. Lisa's story is on the whole more consistent, and she backs it up by not wanting to be around Tom. What you do is call the wife, husband, and girlfriend into a place private. Then you look at the husband and girlfriend and ask who wants to talk first. Let them go at each other on what really happened. Then you tell husband you are no longer friends because friends don't try and get with your so. If girlfriend is found to be lying, then you say bye to her also. It is not fair. All y'all know this while the wife has no idea her husband is a piece of crap and maybe her best friend also. Please let the wife know one way or the other, but having them go at each other while you watch could tell you everything you need to know. So this guy went from being a free spirit and it's not cheating unless actual PIV happened. Buut doesn't want his wife, soon to be ex, to know about anything that happened. OP, do you believe your wife now? At least BC, he seems super suspicious from what you have described. I am leaning more towards believing your GF. She doesn't want to be alone with him. She should make it easier. She shouldn't be around him at all, period. If she does, she is breaking your trust. You leave from there.